Next News, breaking news.
A 21-year-old anti-Trump leftist hauled wood from his apartment to Grant Park, built a cross, stuck a red MAGA hat on top, soaked it in lighter fluid, and lit the whole thing on fire. And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson still pushed the line that this was proof of hatred from Trump supporters. That one detail tells you everything. Merlin Lu stages the spectacle, the media hypes the panic. Democrats aim the smear at ordinary Americans, and then the facts crash through the set. This was not confusion. This was the same filthy play again. And this time, the prop department forgot to hide the script. And this matters because the Democrat smear machine just showed you how fast it can turn any patriot into a domestic villain. One burning cross in Grant Park, one red MAGA hat tied to the top beam, one anti-Trump activist named Merlin Lu, who admitted he built it himself, carried the wood from his apartment and torched it as a protest against Trump and what he called the MAGA Christian nationalists. Before the truth even cooled, Brandon Johnson rushed out with his sermon about an evil symbol of hatred, while the FBI swung into action under hate crime suspicion. That's the danger. Not just one deranged leftist, the whole machine, Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, the activist press, they seize the ugliest image they can find, slap MAGA on it, and count on fear to do the rest. They poison race relations on purpose. They waste law enforcement resources on propaganda. They train radicals to frame conservatives because the system rewards the lie first and shrugs at the truth later. That's not incompetence. That is political warfare aimed straight at Trump's voters. While the left floods the country with synthetic panic and constant stress, a lot of Americans are fighting a quieter battle at home inside their own bodies. Now, you've probably seen the clip, Joe Rogan sitting with Mel Gibson talking about people close to him who went through serious health struggles, then saw dramatic turnarounds. Rogan brings up light-based therapies and how they impact the body at a cellular level. Gibson says it's straight, the stuff works, and that got my attention in my own life because I watched something similar with my wife after long stretches of constant discomfort and anxiety. That's why I want you to look at red light therapy from Jonathan Otto. Go to myredlight.com and see the options for yourself, or better yet, take a look at the interviews with Jonathan. They are eye-opening. If you want to try something that supports recovery, relaxation, and daily wellness without another pill bottle, this is worth your time. Use NNN25 for individual items or NNN30 for bundles. Take care of your health like you take care of your country on purpose with your eyes open. Now here's the part that should make Brandon Johnson hide from every camera in Chicago, which is normally what he does. See, after Merlin Lu surfaced, after the details came out, after everybody learned this was an anti-Trump stunt with a MAGA hat wired to the image, Johnson still pushed the line. It was a painful reminder of how hatred towards black Americans still permeates in our society. No, Brandon. It was a painful reminder that your side will grab a lie even after the liar confesses. We're going to pull up the tweets because the public caught this scam faster than City Hall did. So this is the actual moment following the discovery of a burning cross. A church in the south of the city is offering a $10,000 reward to find the culprit. According to the Anti-Defamation League, burning a cross is one of the most potent symbols of hate in the United States. This is the video.
You're kidding me. What? In 2026, we are burning crosses. Whoa. That's crazy. Oh my God. And it's controlled. It's like a control. This is a very controlled burn. I wonder if that dude said it because he was walking awful close to it. He was, and he gone out that way.
Whoa! So it looked like a sick cross burning scene in Grant Park got people asking the obvious question: who did it? Now the first media narrative is already taking a hit with claims the so-called KKK culprit was actually anti-leftist activists. The white supremacist KKK, who burned a cross in Chicago, was actually a leftist anti-Trump Asian dude, another hoax every single time. So the instant smear against white conservatives is already falling apart next. The details get uglier for City Hall because Brandon Johnson rushed to frame this as MAGA hatred before the suspect's own motive came into focus. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson rushed to condemn a burning cross in Grant Park as an evil symbol of hatred against black Americans, blaming white MAGA supporters. Really? It was done by a 21-year-old anti-Trump Asian leftist named Merlin Lu, a senior at University of Illinois. He built the cross, topped it with a red hat, soaked it in lighter fluid, and set it on fire as a protest against Trump, MAGA Christian nationals, and the ruling class. He admitted to acting alone. The FBI investigated a possible hate crime, yet the mayor framed it as a racial attack on the black community. Classic rush to judgment hypocrisy. When will they stop assuming every bad act is MAGA's fault? Yeah, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. So that's how fast the mayor pushing the blame. Now Brandon Johnson doubles down at the podium, still calling hatred against black Americans, even after the facts pointed to somewhere else.
Lu, who was interviewed by NBC5, who admitted to allegedly burning the cross in Grant Park. During that interview, he seemed to lack an understanding of the meaning behind burning a cross and the implications of that. How concerning is that to you as mayor of, obviously, of a city with a predominantly black population? And do you think there needs to be more education around that?
Well, look, I can't speak to his lack of or understanding of the gravity of what he is alleged of having done. And, you know, again, it's a painful reminder of how hatred towards black Americans still permeates, you know, in our society.
Okay, Brandon. The answer tells you everything about the spin operation next. A broader point conservatives all know too well. This follows the same fake hate playbook we've seen before, from Jussie Smollett to Bubba Wallace. Oh, the shock when you look at the Jussie Smollett hoax, the Southern Poverty Law Center, the Bubba Wallace news tale, and so many others. You realize the KKK today is basically leftists pretending to be Klansmen in the hope they can smear MAGA. News bulletin, it ain't working. And that's why Americans don't buy the media panic. Next, the blame starts moving where it belongs when critics say Pritzker's anti-Trump rhetoric helped poison the culture. Libs of Chicago writes, so it turns out the guy burning the cross is Asian, who's pretending he didn't know anything about the historical context behind burning a cross, which is BS. He knew exactly what this would do, and I wouldn't be surprised if we find that Merlin Lu has connections to some far-left extremist groups most of our aldermen and mayor are associated with. Here's the interview.
University of Illinois Chicago senior Merlin Lu says he knew the implications of a burning cross and had placed a MAGA hat atop the cross, explaining his motivation was to protest Trump administration injustice, not something racist.
How did you land on a burning cross?
Just, it came up to my head one day. I wanted to find something that I could do by myself, like no organization, no friends, no. I did know about this historical relevance beforehand, but I didn't know the severity, how racially motivated it may seem from what I did.
He wants viewers to believe he knew the history, just not the severity. Nice try. Next, NBC's own interview lays out exactly how he built a cross, topped it with a MAGA hat, and claimed it was anti-Trump theater.
I don't want to wait until he may or may not get impeached. I want him gone right now.
On that video, are you threatening him?
No.
You say that you think that he should be brought to an end.
I said he deserves to stand trial to the American people. Some paraphrase, I guess. But
I think you use the word end.
That's what I mean by end. I mean, by end, I don't mean like a civil war, if that is the imagery that you're trying to imagine.
Lu says he built this cross after carrying wooden slats from his near West Side apartment to Grant Park last Tuesday afternoon. He showed the red ball cap that he put on the top beam and used lighter fluid and toilet paper to get it all going.
I put a red hat to signify the MAGA hat, the Make America Great Again hat. So that was, yeah, that's what I tied on top.
But that's not visible in the one video that was taken by a motorist.
Lu says he was protesting what he calls MAGA Christian nationalist supporters and the Trump administration ruling class.
You're just scamming people. We're just scamming out of money, right? And I think that's a great reflection of how this country works right now.
My question is, how can the guy be sitting on a park bench and not be behind bars? Like, that just blows my mind. So it wasn't confusion. It was staged anti-MAGA statement by design. Next, the reaction broadens again with another reminder the left keeps dressing up its own hoaxes to paint patriots as villains. Oh, the shock. It ain't working. And then we have this. The blame starts moving where it belongs, with critics saying Pritzker's anti-Trump rhetoric helped poison the culture that produced this stunt. Well, Pritzker, you're stirring up hatred for people who disagree with you politically, led this kid to burning a cross. I recommend you read all his words. This is our educational system and your political propaganda in action. So the question now is whether the politicians who fuel the hatred will own any of it. Next, the gloves come off as critics call out Pritzker and Johnson for trying to dump this on right-wing voters. It's always a crazy leftist doing this shite now. Democrat Governor J.B. Pritzker, Democrat Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson tried to blame right-wing white people because they're both leftist, unhinged liars. So after the mayor and governor rushed to smear MAGA, the facts landed like a brick. Next, Terry Newsom sums up the whole Chicago scam in one shot. Total outrage when they can blame Trump. Total silence when it's one of their own. I know Terry, great patriot. He says, oh, sweet Jesus, a burning cross in Grant Park. Mayor Brandon Johnson had a full meltdown. Governor Pritzker clutched his pearls, screaming about racism and fascism seeds blooming under Trump, and the usual choir wailed KKK MAGA hate crime. Narrative was a chef's kiss until Merlin Lu showed up, 21-year-old leftist UIC genius who hauled wood from his apartment, doused it in lighter fluid, slapped a MAGA hat on it as his brave protest against MAGA Christian nationalists. In custody for arson, no charges yet, and poof, the outrage evaporates faster than the lighter fluid. Johnson can't speak to motives, but the impact? Pritzker ghosted media with a twist. Suddenly it's just one of their brave boys doing performance art. Justice Smollett 2.0. Props real, selective hysteria faker than ever, arson in a public park, adorable if it's punching up. Where's the damn outrage now, hypocrites? Two-tier justice isn't a bug, it's the whole damn feature in Chicago. Oh, man. So the moral center of the story sits on the burning beam with the red MAGA hat tied on top. Merlin Lu did not just torch wood in a park, he built a propaganda device. He carried the lumber from his apartment. He chose the cross, he chose the hat, he chose the lighter fluid, and he chose the target, Trump supporters. And Brandon Johnson still tried to salvage the smear with a line about hatred towards black Americans permeating society. That's the scandal. Brandon Johnson had the name. Brandon Johnson had the motive. Brandon Johnson had the confession in front of him, and Johnson still leaned on the same script because the script mattered more than the truth. That is how Democrat power works now. Hoax first, accusation second, silenced when the left gets caught red-handed. So here's the demand that Brandon Johnson needs to answer for smearing Trump supporters. J.B. Pritzker needs to answer for fanning hysteria and then disappearing when the facts gutted the narrative. Every newsroom that flashed KKK and MAGA panic over the stunt needs to put the correction where the original smear sat. Same size, same heat, same names. Because if Merlin Lu can build a cross, crown it with a MAGA hat, and trigger an instant establishment feeding frenzy, then every conservative in America sits one stage incident away from being branded a monster by the people who hate them. The good news? Americans see the pattern now. Jussie Smollett, Bubba Wallace, and now Grant Park. Same fraud, same contempt, same collapse. So send this as somebody who still thinks the press just makes innocent mistakes, and watch how fast that illusion burns down. And let's stay connected. I want you to get the news that matters most because YouTube's not sending you notifications and they're burying us in the feeds. So you need to make sure you text raw feed to 844-840-4963 like the thousands of patriots who've already signed up for the insider list. I want you on it. Let's celebrate America 250, shall we? Check out the merch shelf below this video or go to shop.nextnewsnetwork.com.
The system controls information. Information control is power.
I want you to see this.
The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.